I was lost in my mind. He did let me sleep too late. He woke me one more time. He woke you up. He woke me up this morning. And he's starting me on my way.
It's now an established event in the Paris fashion calendar. Africa Now brings an impressive selection of artists, designers, singers and dancers to the French capital, all of them here to celebrate contemporary African culture. And when a French department store decides to hold a show on its roof, you know the event's gone mainstream.
Today, we young Africans are making our voices heard. We're doing interesting things, we're showing what we can do, and we're celebrating Africa as it is. Our very Africanness is changing the way people see the continent. This excitement surrounding Africa is excellent, but we also need to make sure it lasts and that it keeps making money.
Amah Ayivi, stylist and buyer for the vintage clothing mecca Marché Noir, has created 5 distinct scenes grouped under the title The Great Parade of African Style. In his vision, gospel singers sit alongside voodoo witches, soldiers, evangelical Christians, and Congolese sapeurs.
It's not a caricature in the sense that you do see these types of clothes in a lot of African countries. So it's really about highlighting certain styles. There is such a thing as African fashion. There are a lot of wrap skirts and dresses, there's a lot of jewellery. There's an emphasis on elegance. There are a lot of different elements, and you'll see them all during the show.
The African continent has always been a source of inspiration for Western designers. Among them Saint Laurent, Gaultier and Galliano. But it was always with regard to a specific collection. These days, African references are everywhere.
For me, it's less about fashion and more about style. So I combine that traditional side, products that I bring back, that I make or that I redesign, with military references, with cowboy boots. Let's not forget that Africa has its fair share of cowboys. There's a real mix within Africa itself, and that's what I and a lot of people focus on. Not everyone does that, but altogether that's what gives Africa such an energy.
Paris department stores have begun displaying artworks alongside clothes in a new push to attract customers. This exhibition consists of pieces by artists from Africa and from the African diaspora. Born in the 80s, these artists grew up with the internet and cheap global travel. Migration and community are recurrent themes.
It's a really joyful period because it's when France finally started to really look at a continent that it hadn't wanted to really look at since decolonization. France was quite behind in that respect, especially when compared with countries like Germany, Belgium and England. This is an opportunity to explore the huge talents that have emerged from the African continent, modern and contemporary artists.
Beneath the department store's great dome, works by Madagascan artist Joël Adriano Mearizoa. Words in French and English appear on a series of black banners, inviting onlookers to construct their own absurd phrases.
It's up to each person to look at the banners, to read the words and create their own stories with the things that exist around them. The words, the fashion labels, ideas about what they want to buy. And then I try to take those feelings and emotions onto other places too.
Elsewhere, the focus is on military style, with references to a range of different time periods and aesthetics. There's everything from the white socks of the French colonizers to black leather gloves, sunglasses and berets.
I love military fashion codes. It's very strict, beautiful and well cut. It reminds me of Thomas Sankara when he wore his uniform and that red beret. I loved it. He was so handsome and elegant.
And elegance is a key element of what makes African style so unique. Among Congolese sapeurs, essentially a group of people who take their style very seriously indeed, elegance has become something of a doctrine.
It's about state of mind. You can't teach that. I'd say that for most people here, it's almost genetic.
Genetic?
Yes, it's innate. You can see even in our physicality. It's like we were destined to become sapeurs. Sapeurs need to have a certain presence, and you can't teach that.
Sapeurs are very into their designer labels, but it's not enough to simply buy the clothes to join the community. You need to know how to combine colours, to walk with a swagger, to own it.
In Paris, life can at times be a little chaotic, like it is right now. We need things to be colourful, to be joyous. You saw that show. Everyone was smiling, even if life isn't great for some people. It's like the symbol of Africa. And yes, that's what Africa is, I think. When Africa appears in contexts like this, I think it's a good sign. It means we're not going to slip backwards. We'll transform chaos into something colourful and life-giving.
Africa is set to become the second most lucrative market to invest in the world. The global fashion industry knows it would be mad not to stand up and pay attention.